For example, let's say I have a credit card that has, let's say I got $1,000 on this credit card. And it's maxed out. The limit is $1,000. I maxed it out $1,000. If you watch the last video, you know that it's a bad thing. You should get everything under 30%, no more than 30%. But so it's negatively impacting that. And let's say I got $1,000 sitting in my checking account. If I know I'm about to apply for something, I'm going to pay off that credit card, $1,000. I'm going to pay it off, right? And I'm not going to apply after I pay it off, right? We want to wait till it gets reported to the credit card bureaus. With credit cards, it happens on your statement date, not your due date. But I want to pay this off and I'm just going to wait some time. I might check my credit or pull my credit report, 28 days later, 30 days later, whenever it goes. And I want to see for a fact that it's now reported as 0. Once I see it reported as 0, that's when I apply. Okay, that's what I apply for, whatever I'm trying to apply for. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 9% Show. I am your host, Steven Burton, and here at the 9%, y'all know we keep everything 100. If I haven't done it, not doing it, or not about to do it, it will not come out my mouth. We are on part 2 of our business and credit series, I guess. And today on part 2, we are talking about how you use your credit to your advantage. If anybody missed part 1, we talked about how to improve your credit score. And so I highly suggest going back to that video and watching that one. Then, or if your credit is fabulous right now, then come on, you can come on right to this video. But we want to know what to do when you got your credit just looking amazing. How do you use it to your advantage? What is the point of having great credit? I've already established the fact of credit is so important when it comes to business. Okay. Whether it be credit cards, your personal credit will matter. Business loans, your personal credit will matter. Line of credits, all this stuff. I've been in business for over 8 years, and don't let nobody fool you. There is not one situation credit wise that I've done. Well, take that back. Shopify Capital and PayPal loans and merchant loans, they don't run credit reports. So that's a little different. But any major loan through a bank or credit card through a bank, your personal credit matters. Heck, even when you get a lease, if you want a building and all that type of stuff, when you try to sign up for a lease, they run your personal credit. Okay. Some of them run your business credit and your personal credit, but they would never, at least it just hasn't happened with me. Okay, maybe I haven't hit that billionaire status where they just take my word for it. And then come 20 years later, they want to sue you for it like they did Trump, talking about you inflated your assets. But hey, if you would have checked his credit and checked all the stuff that you do for us little folks, maybe you wouldn't have that problem. But I digress. Anyways, toast to the 9%ers out there like we always do around this time. And those that want to be in the 9% club, can't forget y'all, like I usually do, but this is for the people that want to get into the 9%. Okay, so your credit score is banging. Maybe you got that, you're in the mid 700s, high 800s, whatever the case may be. You got a good credit score. How can you use it to your advantage? Let's talk about the basic stuff. Okay, there's some basic stuff that you just need to understand what good credit will do for you. Okay, one of the basic ones is it's cheaper to borrow money. You lower your interest rates. It makes such a huge difference from someone that has bad credit, someone that has good credit. Just the fact of a car loan. I remember back when I was getting a car loan, when my credit was bad and I had to have a cosign for a car. And I remember getting a car when my credit was great. And when I tell you the amount of buying power it gave me for this car, I was able to get literally a $20,000 more car for the same monthly payment that bad credit people were getting for a way cheaper car, because that's the max they could afford, because they're getting hit with so much crazy interest rates, especially for auto loans. They could jump that sucker up to 10%, 15%, up to 20%. It's crazy. But when you have excellent credit, you can feel confident knowing that anything you apply for, you are getting the best rate at the time. Obviously, we are currently in a high interest environment, but even in a high interest environment, if I apply for something, I had to get 2 new cars recently. I got the lowest rate that was available today. today's time. And then once interest rates go down in the future, I could refinance and get the lowest rates again at that time. Like whatever I do, we can get the lowest rate. So, and it makes, I already gave a little example on how like a car payment can the amount you owe, but like even for a house, if you're trying to get a house, like the amount of money you can afford, they take account of like what your mortgage payment will be to tell you how much of a house you can afford. And what big old chunk and fees are part of that is your interest rate. Like this big difference. A 0.5, 1% difference, it makes a huge difference. When you're talking about $500,000, $700,000 for a home, live in California, Lord knows what you're paying for a home, but it makes a huge difference. So that is one of the basics. Also, one of my favorites I love is just credit card rewards. Oh my goodness. If you play the credit card reward game, man, you talking about free money in your hands, free trips, let alone for all my business people out there. You put all these the amount of credit card rewards business folks get, it should be shameful. But hey, we paying for it, and my personal guarantee on it, so I really don't care. But that stuff, literally, you can play the credit card reward game, not go dive into it deep. Just go ahead and YouTube some credit card rewards, how to use it to your advantage. I'm sure you'll find a bunch of hustles and travel rewards and all that type of stuff. But know that I utilize all that too. Like, oh my goodness, you get so much money, cash money you can get from it, trips, just gifts, gift cards, there's anything like but the best deals and the best offers on that type of stuff only goes to people with great credit that can get those type of credit cards. So that, we talk about real estate. Obviously we talked about your mortgage, but like even within, you can, get a good line of credit. With a line of credit, you can also use that money to then put down on another house. That is one thing you can take a loan from in the mortgage world and put it down on another home or investment property. You can use borrowed money in that instance. I mean, it's not necessarily borrowed, it kind of is, but it's based on your equity. So is it not? I don't know. But that's something you could take advantage of. If you have bad credit, no, you can't take advantage of that. Or you gotta get it and you get a high interest rate, and it really won't make sense to do them type of investment properties because you're paying a lot of money in interest. So those are some of the basics. But what I want to dive in on this particular episode, I'm going to get into some of the hacks and the hustles that I do and how I take credit to my advantage. Because like I said, I am a FICO score credit guru, okay? It's because I've been through the storm, but I also understand how to play the game. And as soon as I was able to figure out how banks see me and what they look for, I was able to reverse engineer this thing and realize, okay, how do I get there? How do I use this to my best benefit? And I'm going to give you guys some examples, okay? All right, we go dive into, the first big thing is like, you need to know when to apply for stuff, okay? When to apply and how your credit and your credit reports and all this stuff works. Anytime I apply for anything, it is timed out perfectly. I want to create my snapshot that they take when they pull my credit. Remember, your credit score is not your credit report. When they pull your credit score is pulling your credit report. They're taking a snapshot in that moment of where you're at, and then computing a credit score, and that's what they give you. Knowing that is how it works, I need to make sure this source document, meaning my credit report, is at its best position to give me what I need. When you have a high credit score, perfect credit or close to perfect credit, some of this stuff doesn't matter anymore. But when you're on the teetering line of like, when 10 points this way can give you a lower interest rate or can get you a higher interest rate, or 5 points this way, you're like right in the border, this stuff matters, okay? And if you're applying for a lot of money for something, it also matters, no matter how perfect your score is. Like, they look at other things like your utilization rates and all this type of stuff. So whenever I need to apply for something, for example, let's say I have a credit card that has, let's say I got $1,000 on this credit card and it's maxed out. The limit is $1,000. I max it out $1,000. If you watch the last video, you know that it's a bad thing. You should get everything under 30%, no more than 30%. But so it's negatively impacting that. And let's say I got $1,000 sitting in my checking account. If I know I'm about to apply for something, I'm going to pay off that credit card, $1,000. I'm going to pay it off, right? And I'm not going to apply after I pay it off, right? We want to wait till it gets reported to the credit card bureaus. With credit cards, It happens on your statement date, not your due date. But I want to pay this off and I'm just going to wait some time. I might check my credit or pull my credit report, 28 days later, 30 days later, whenever it goes. And I want to see for a fact that it's now reported as 0. Once I see it reported as 0, that's when I apply. Okay, that's when I apply for whatever I'm trying to apply for. Oh, your credit is amazing. You don't have any debt. Oh, thank you. Once they approve and give you your money, they give it to you. It's yours. They can't get it back. It's whatever. You get that mortgage, you get it, boom. You can go to the furniture store tomorrow and start making it rain in the furniture store and put everything on debt. You can choose to do that. Same way you make this happen. So, like this example I'm giving you, you get that loan back. I might just go, you know what? Give me that $1,000 back credit card and go back to where I was. But now I got that new credit line that I wanted to get for whatever reason. I say that little strategy here is because you need to understand how things are reported to your credit report, okay? And understanding the timing to apply for things. In my business world, I don't apply for stuff. I always tell people, don't apply for credit when you need it desperately. So the flip side of that is you apply for it when things are good. So when I first, there's a video we'll link to up here. I talked about when I got approved for a line of credit through Chase Bank and what it took to get approved for that. But during that time, I had to make sure everything was sweet. Everything was perfect. I had money in the bank. I had no debt on file. I didn't want to give them any reason to deny me. As soon as you get it, everything can reset and real life can keep going on. But you have to understand all these banks look at is a snapshot of your life. Now, granted, as you get, higher or you're requesting more money, or like I said, the line of credit was, it's a tough thing to ask for, or a mortgage. Like those, the more money you're requesting, the more they gonna ask and see. So sometimes they want to see a tax return, or sometimes they want to see a bank statement. Like they want to see all this extra stuff to go because they know people like me and people that understand credit, we can hustle the game here. That's why you also can't, if some magic money gets deposited in your account when you're trying to close on a home, they gonna be like, oh, where does money come from? Where that? Is it a gift? Is it whoop-de-whoop? Like they're on to these games too. But from smaller situations, credit cards, little small loans, all this type of stuff, man, you time this thing out and you play the game how it's supposed to be played, and you will get the best rates because you just know how to do it. Another thing you need to take advantage of is just high limits with credit cards. I'll also link to the video here of how I started my business with minimal funds. And I've already explained that I launched perfecttux strictly off credit cards. I had super, super high limits on the credit cards. But like I mentioned in the last video on part 1, what you want to do all the time, every 6 months, is apply for credit increases. You want to do that. But when you have high limits on credit cards, like you have the ultimate flexibility. You could have been like me and start your business off a credit card. It's hard to do that when your limit's only $2,000 or $3,000. It's hard to do that. But if you, let alone, they have some credit cards out there. I ain't putting my business out on the street, but I know there's some credit cards out there got like 20,000 plus credit limits. Now, when they give you a $20,000 plus credit limit, do they want you to use $20,000? No, they do not. That's why everything gets negatively impacted. And I guarantee you, if you made a $15,000 charge one day, they will come knocking or come calling the next day like, hey, what's going on here? And they might even cut your line, cut it down, because they do not want you to use all your credit. It's kind of reverse thinking, and I know it don't make sense, but you need to understand when you do have high limits, you could just, man, I remember when I got my credit right, and I got my first high limit credit card. It might have been like a $5,000 card or something like that, $7,000 card at the time. But I was happy because one, I was aware of utilization rate, and at 30%, I was like, okay, if I need to carry a balance, it's easier to do with a higher limit. But with credit cards and just in general, credit cards allowed my family household to have positive cash flow. We talk about cash flow all the time, but it allowed me for a simple thing like this. A lot of people, sometimes you might be struggling to get to payday because of gas, car gas. If you live in California, you live in LA, it's super expensive out here. It's crazy. Hopefully you're remote or you're hybrid or you're doing something like that, you're saving a little bit. But back in the day, there was no choice but to drive to work, and that's all you had to do. And sometimes you are crawling, and I know I can't be the only one, but sometimes you are crawling to that payday, okay? You're putting 5 in the tank, 10 in the tank, 7 in the tank, trying to do whatever you can do to get to that payday to put to fill up or whatever the case may be. But I'm saying this story to say, I remember looking at my budget one day and I was saying, hey, I put $200 in my gas tank every month, but I'm struggling to get to this because, I got this bill due on the 12th. I got this bill due on the 7th. I don't get paid. I get paid every 2 weeks. And I'm just trying to get to it. I might not have $100 in this 2 weeks. I got 40 right now to put this gas in, whatever. But when you have a credit card, you can just use your credit card and use that and then be responsible. And at the end of the month, pay my $200, but it created this positive cash flow in my lifestyle, which also allowed me to pay bills on time, to save. It's just, understanding credit and using it to your benefit and being responsible with it really opens up so much opportunity, so much doors to keep improving your situation or to take advantage of opportunities when they come. If an opportunity came where I needed to invest some money or something was a sure winner or, it's funny, I'm the ultimate hustler. Forget name dash, but I used to flip concert tickets and movie tickets. Big time, super big time. And how did I pay for all these tickets I was getting? Was it cash? No. It was these high limit credit cards. I was swiping, buying all these seats. And I was the person I was complaining about, where all the tickets at? They got them on StubHub for all this money. Yep, that was me. I was doing it. But hey, take advantage of the moment. Okay. By the time the bill is due, I'll flip this ticket. I'm on it running. You have so many ways to philango and play the game when you got good credit, okay? And high limits is your way to get there. Only last thing I'll touch on is just really the beauty of authorized users. Talked about that and how you can use that to improve your credit score. But authorized users are also something you can just strategize and use other people's good credit to your advantage, okay? Again, knowing what you're doing, knowing when to apply for things. If you know the only knock on your credit is that you have some debt that you cannot pay off quick enough, man, hopefully you know somebody got a high limit credit card. Just hop on their authorized user, boom, problem solved. Stuff went up. Heck, they can take you right off after you apply for something. Take you off the card. All the history is off the card. It is what it is. But between playing the game with authorized users, getting us high limits, knowing when to apply, moving this over here, moving this over there, being real strategic about how you see credit, man, you can use it for anything. And the games don't stop. And I say games because, it's all a game to me. It's a big old game, big old real life game of Monopoly. But all this on the personal side, it all is the same thing on the business side. The timing of when you apply for stuff, how you do stuff. If anything on the business side, man, they just give you more. They just give you more and more and more because, you got a big old business that is structured around it. But it's also, when they give you more, you can mess up big too. So it goes hand in hand. But these strategies and these hustles are there for the taking. And once you understand credit and how it works and what banks are looking for and how the credit report, how your credit cards you have, how it's reported to the credit card bureaus. You might have a credit card that is a statement date on the 7th, another one statement date on the 16th, another one statement date on the 18th, whatever. You need to know, okay, I got to go through all that series before I get to apply for that. You just need to know and hustle and hustle the system a little bit. Play the game and let the little man win sometimes. Sometimes the little man got to win, but you got to know what you're doing to win. And so I hope this video, gave you a little game. If it did, please put it in the comments. Please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Until next time, I will catch you on the 9%. Peace.